Welcome to the Biz Kidz Podcast, where young entrepreneurs rise, shine, and redefine what is possible. Ready to launch your business? Well, buckle up. We're about to launch. Welcome to the Biz Kidz Podcast. I'm JD Rabali, your host, and today we have with us Karl Gibbons with Third Eye Management. Karl, why don't you tell us in 60 seconds who you are and what you do?
Karl Gibbons, Third Eye Management and Associates, better known as TEMA, and for the last nearly 40 years, we've done exactly the same thing, JD. Hopefully every day we just get to do it a little bit better, and that is we help our clients increase their revenue, control and reduce their costs, and amplify their market share.
Awesome. And then we always like to get in our little time machine and go back into the past. Where did you get your entrepreneur spirit? When did it all start for you?
Well, I suppose really it all goes back to when I was a kid, and my parents made it quite clear that once I reached the age of 13, which, as you can tell from my accent, I was born and bred in the UK. And in the UK, to have a part-time job, you have to be 13. So
Okay.
the paper rounds, work in a store, whatever it is, but my parents made it real clear that when I was 13, my allowance would stop and I would have to go and get a job. And that came as a bit of a shock. But they were true to their words. It stopped and I went and got a paper round. And so it was a morning delivery, and back then an evening delivery as well. And of course, Sundays was the big, all the Sunday supplements and all that kind of stuff. So, but what I learned really quickly was I loved doing it and the other guys hated it. And when the other guys didn't turn up, the owner of the newsagents would pay me a little bit more to deliver their rounds. So after a while, I thought, so I started paying them a little bit of my extra not to turn up, so I got their bit as well. And I think that's where the flavour of making and earning my own money kicked in. And of course, it was great because now I was totally independent. When mom and dad were giving me my allowance, there was an element of influence on what I could spend it on and what I couldn't spend it on. But now I was totally financially independent, and I like that a lot.
So what time did your days start in the morning to get the morning delivery done?
I would start at 6 because obviously I then had to go back home, wash, change, shower, get ready, and then go to school. And then the evening rounds would start at 4:30, 5 o'clock, and that would be finished by sort of 6:30. Sundays I had to do everything in 2 relays just because it was a satchel delivery, and so all the newspapers and supplements were in a bag, and that was really heavy. So literally the physical weight of carrying it, I had to do it twice. I had to split the rounds into 2.
And
So,
you get a lot of exercise, walking doors and delivering papers. So
yeah, and I'm sure there's a lot of people listening and watching this saying I could do the same bit of exercise now, right?
exactly. I had for a while a door-to-door advertising company, and I would walk doors anywhere from 4 to 6 hours a day.
There you go.
Delivering my flyers. And man, I was in good shape, but man, I could come home and take a nap that you wouldn't believe. So yeah.
Right.
So paper route was your first kind of venture
Yeah.
into the entrepreneur world. Then
Right.
then where did it lead from there?
Okay, well, then of course I got the taste, right? And I liked what I was tasting. And then I went and worked for what in the UK was referred to as a greengrocer, an independent store that sold fruit, vegetables, flowers. Now, of course, they're all into supermarkets, but then they were independents and called greengrocers. And I used to work from them after school, all day Saturdays and all day holidays. And the guy I worked for, Harold Sheldon, he was great. Every time there was either a school holiday, and he kept me on even when I went to college. When there was a college vacation, he would allow me to work full time. And I've got to tell you, that was the best math education I ever had, because today we go beep, 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 and it all adds up for us, right?
Yeah.
And you submit your money, or you put your credit card in, and it tells you what your change is and all that. No. Back then, it was here. It was 10 cents a pound. You weighed the stuff on the scale. Of course, it never actually came to dead on a pound. So then you had to work out, how much was it? It came to 11 cents. And then the person would want a pound of tomatoes and then £3 of this and £5 of that. And all the while you had to keep adding it up. My mental arithmetic was never, ever as sharp as it was then. I wish it was as sharp today as it was then. But that taught me how to literally add and do math in my head.
Well, like you said, the digital world now that we have, you don't have to collect that. You don't have to look at it. Just put it in the computer and let the
Yeah.
computer figure it out. So that's a great lesson to learn along the way. Now, did he teach you about like the marketing side of it too, like how they sold the products in the grocery
No,
store?
absolutely. The best times was going to market with him. So I would get up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and I would go to market with Harold, and I would get around with him, and I would watch him negotiate all the prices, and then he would say to me things like, "Yeah, we could do bundles on this. We can do 5 oranges for $1. We can create marketing experiences, buy 3 of this, get 1 free, sell it by the foot, Christmas trees at Christmas." That used to be my speciality. Then we had a little green outside to the side of the shop, and we would deliver all the Christmas trees, and he would just say to me, "I need $2 a foot." The rest was just down to bill. And there was no measuring it, so I'd hold up a Christmas tree and I'd say, "Well, I'm 5'5" or whatever I was then, so this has got to be about 6 foot, and
Yep.
so that's the way that went. So lots of marketing and guerrilla marketing experiences I gained in that world.
Yeah, that's a great way to learn it, right in there in the trenches. And so, when did you kind of venture out onto your own to do your own first business by
Well,
yourself?
I was 22 years old. I had a very successful career, and one day I was commuting into central London on the commuter train, and I went into Waterloo Station. And for those viewers and listeners that don't know, Waterloo Station is the UK's busiest railway station, and it's that busy of a morning that they actually play military music, because psychologically it makes you walk faster. And so process the people through. Now, this is really important. So there were tens of thousands of people going into Waterloo railway station of a morning, all eager to get on their way to work. And one morning, I noticed out the corner of my eye, because I was also a part of these people that have got to get into the office, a tiny little kiosk. And there was a buzz going outside this kiosk. Now, remember, this is long before there was retailing in railway stations and tube stations and airports. None of that existed. And right in the corner, I saw all of this activity, and I went over, and there was a tiny little shop. It was about 250 square foot. And in there, they were selling neckties. And the guys were just buying them all up. And the thing that I noticed was it was a deal scenario. So you bought one tie for $6.99, right? And of course, as all us guys know, we can never make our mind up. Is it this tie or is it this tie? Which do you think? So then they would say, well, if you buy the 2, you can have them for $6.50 a piece. And they were buying them by the bagful. I was, wow. So I said to the young lady that was serving and selling, "Is this your store?" And she said, "No." And I said, "How many of these stores do you have?" She said, "Well, we have 2." And I said, "Can I give me the contact details of the owner?" So I phoned up the owner and I said, "Have you ever thought about franchising this operation?" And he said, "Yes, we'd love to. Come and see me." And the rest, as they say, is history. We
Nice.
broke every rule in the franchising book. We sat down just like you and I are now, and we drafted a franchise agreement between us like crazy. You don't do that. And I ended up with the franchise rights to all of London's major streets, retail streets. So my first one was Regent Street, then was Oxford Street, and then Jermyn Street. And Jermyn Street is the only street in the world dedicated to the making of men's shirts. Well, if you can't sell men's ties that go with shirts in a street that's dedicated to manufacturing of shirts, then I would say just give up. And so that's how it all started. That's how it all started.
That's amazing. That's a great story to have that experience. Now, as you got into the business, were you running one of the shops, or did you hire people right
Well,
away to like take those
right.
territories?
Well, obviously, when I first started, which was Regent Street, I was there 24 hours a day, 365 days of the year. But yes, I was there totally hands on, because I do believe that whatever business you get into, um, right from the get-go, and as experienced and as haggard as I am now, you've got to understand that business. And I say to my clients, you've got to get your arms around it. And the only way you can do that is get in it, roll up your sleeves and get in. You need to understand every aspect of the business. And that's what I did. Now, obviously, when I opened the second store, I had to have somebody run the first one, and likewise we went on to the third one, etc. So in the end, I had managers at each location, and I was supervising all three.
So during that time, what was like one of the biggest challenges you had? I assume that your first day on the job selling ties probably didn't go as you thought you were gonna do, or
Well, of course,
what was kind of one of the
told me I
challenges?
was crazy. You can't make a living in the store just selling neckties. But I was as confident as can be that it could work based on everything that I'd seen so far. And to be fair, those guys were completely transparent with their numbers for their other store, so I knew what the numbers were. I knew what the potential was. But I think really the key with all of it is your people. You see, you can train anybody to do anything, but it's the commitment and the quality of the people that you have surround you. So I always hire, from that date all the way to this. I hire with integrity first. The caliber and the integrity and the personality of the person first, and then I will teach them their skills. Now, if they come with the skills, that's also great. That's an added bonus. But I start off with the caliber of the people first. Was my first.
And was it hard to get the employees motivated to sell like you would sell in the store?
Well, of course it always is, because it's your business. Nobody runs your business like you do, right? Nobody has the passion, nobody has the enthusiasm for your business like you do. But I've also believed that if I'm successful, my people should be successful as well. So that was a key. Everybody shared in the success. So that was a good way to motivate and bring people on.
One of the ways we train our young entrepreneurs are by having markets where the kids can actually get out
Yeah.
and sell their stuff. And what we see a lot of times, we're there with other businesses that are already operating. They have owners. They send employees to run that booth, and they sit in the back of the booth on their phone the whole time. People walking by, they're just completely ignored. Where our students are out there in front of their booth, and we teach them, like, you need to be drawing them
Yeah.
in. How do you get their attention?
Absolutely.
So
Because it's
it's always fun to
passion,
see.
right? You can have all of this, but unless you've got this, it just don't work. And nobody can put that heart passion over like the owner. They just can't.
Exactly. Now, I've heard you speak at multiple events, and I think one of the stories you tell about is the zebra stripes. Can you explain to our students what a zebra stripe is, and how you use that as an illustration to really differentiate yourself in the market?
Okay. Well, think of it like this. If you look at a herd of zebras, all you see is a mass of black and white stripes. Okay. So think of that as your market. Think of that like the high street, if you like. Think of that, doesn't matter what market you're in, but we'll use the high street as an example. You look down a high street and all you see are black and white stripes. What's going to make you different? What's going to cut you from the herd? What's going to make anybody that's walking down that high street, that's looking into that market, that are looking for those products, go into your store, go into your business? What makes you different? So imagine again now, all of those zebras have black and white stripes, but one of them has a bright pink stripe. Are you going to notice it? Is it going to stand out? Of course it is. and that's how you differentiate yourself. So ask yourself, why should anybody buy from me? And again, saying, oh, I offer great customer service. Oh, we're always open on time. Oh, my business is always clean and tidy. Or my vans are always neatly. Great, but so they should be. That doesn't set you apart. That's a baseline. That's where we start, because nobody picked up a phone and said, "I'm going to phone a company and engage with them because they have very bad service." You know, uh, but what is it that makes you different from all the others? What sets you apart? And that's how you leverage your zebra stripe.
So now in your tie business, I'm sure that you guys were kind of the first to the market to like sell ties by
Yeah,
themselves. And so as you grew that, did you start to see competitors coming in and trying to be different or trying to copy what you're doing?
funnily enough, no, not initially. Eventually, the answer to that is yes. But for the at least for the first 3 to 5 years, the answer was no. And I think the reason for that is, um, Tyrac went from zero to like 500-600 stores very, very quickly. So they were market dominant. There was no room. But other operations spawned out of that. So there was a famous company called Sock Shop, and yes, they did exactly for socks and ladies' hosiery what Tyrac did for menswear. And then of course I sold, um, uh, Tyrac, my interest in Tyrac, and I opened a company called Flash Trash, which is ladies' fashion accessories. So it was that same niche marketing. So Tyrac was the birthplace and was the father of the niche marketing experience, but not necessarily for the same product. It generated the same impact in other market areas.
And we see with our students a lot of times, because we're just starting them out and they're trying this for the first time, they might be selling lemonade or cookies. And at the markets, there's other companies that are doing the same things or other students that are doing the exact same
Yeah,
thing. And so I think figuring out what your zebra stripe is very important to figure out, why are you different? Why do they want to buy from me
right,
versus them?
right. And your lemonade has got to be the best lemonade out there. It's like you've tried all the rest, now try the best. Um, uh, do not start getting into, well, his is $1 a cup. I'll do mine for 95 cents a cup, because that's just a fast road to the bottom. Uh,
Fast road to the bottom.
Fast road to the
Exactly.
bottom. Competing on price is crazy. Um, Elevate your price. Elevate your price. Make sure and it has to be worth it. And think about not just the lemonade as a drink. Think about the lemonade as an experience. What does your stand look like? What are you serving your lemonade in? Is it just a paper cup? But is it a paper cup that has your logo on it? Do you get a refill with your drink? Are your drinking utensils, are they biodegradable? Are they eco-friendly? Are you having no are you zero impact on the environment? All of those things add up. Do you look good? Are you well presented? Do you look like you've just rolled out of bed? Right? All of those things add to the experience. Is it a fun name? Is it a crazy name? Is it zingy? Is it out there? Um, all of those things make the difference, because lemonade isn't just lemonade. It's a lemonade experience. How do you serve it? Do you put it in a pitcher? Does it come in a can? Does it come in a cup? So it's all about how you make the overall experience. It's not about selling lemonade. It's about selling the experience. And yours has got to be the
Exactly.
best experience in the market.
And from your advice too, bundling as well. And, we'd say, what can you sell with it? And you sell popcorn with
Yep.
a lemonade, because once you get them to eat the popcorn, they're more thirstier and they're going to buy more lemonade. And so,
What about
um,
a lemonade mocktail? So
oh, there you go.
lemonade with another juice, lemonade served differently, lemonade with added fruit in it as a mixer, you know? And all of those are upcharges.
Exactly.
Everyone's an
Exactly.
upcharge.
Well, I know you work with you coach a lot of different businesses at all different levels, from, the people that are just
Yeah.
starting out to the been in business for a long time. What is like one of the common themes you see across the board where getting started, what do you tell them? Hey, this is what you got to do in your first month.
Uh, the first thing you've got to do is make sure you've got enough gas left in the tank when you get to the start line. And what do I mean by that, JD? Everybody wants to have the Go Faster stripes. They've got to have the best logo, and then they've got to have the right Xerox machine. And they spend all of their money prior to launching their business. And then when they get to the start line, they've got no money left. They've run out of gas. So they might have the best looking NASCAR sports car there is, but unless you can turn the engine on and make it go when it gets there. So really be frugal when you start out. You don't have to have the best of everything. You don't have to have new of everything. Watch your cash. Really, really, really watch your cash. And because cash is king. And the more proof of sales, the more proof of concept that you've got, the easier it is when it comes to getting funding and raising funding and getting investment as you go forward. If you need it, you might not even need it. But if you're frugal with your cash to start, that's always a good place to be.
Yeah, and we see that a lot. Test your market to see if
Yep.
there's a market for what you're
Yep.
trying to sell. We have kids that sell cookies and lemonade, and they sell fine at an event. But do we have some kids that come in with their own specific art that they've created, and they may not get as much interest in it because of the type of art they are. And you have to really know your audience
Correct. You
to look at that.
absolutely have. And don't go to mom, dad, granny, and your friend, because they love you. They want you to succeed. And they'll tell you if it's the worst tasting lemonade they've ever had, they'll say, "Oh, JD, this is beautiful," right? And because they will, because they love you and they want you to succeed. Just set up shop. Go out to the public and just ask them to taste it, and be really honest with yourself to the results that you get. If people don't really like it, well, they're telling you. It's not Auntie and Uncle Jimmy that's sort of going, "Oh, it's lovely, horrible." You're getting real market feedback, and adapt accordingly.
So you've given the kids some great ideas to think about, kind of like how to start. What would you say to parents that, being a supportive parent of a young entrepreneur, you and I have different minds. Like, the entrepreneur mind is different than the normal kid that's just like wanting to get through the day. We're looking for ways to make money all the time. What would you say to those parents as advice to helping them along the process?
I would, first of all, I would encourage them. I would encourage them to get a coach or a mentor. I would also encourage them, if they are helping Jimmy or Jemima set up, give them a budget and say, "I will invest $50 in your business. And here's my expectations. I expect I'm going to invest $50 in your business, and by the end of this project, I expect to see $60 come back to me, not to you, to me." Because remember, if you borrow money or if you leverage money, there's always a cost to it. And so I think be as real as you can, mom and dad, be as real as you can with your kids, without being a Debbie Downer, without crushing their aspirations, but just be as real as you can. Be as real as you can, and point them in as many directions as you can to get the help and the support you need. So point them towards Biz Kidz, point them towards doing one of their markets, point them to going to as many as their events as you can, because they will then get other experiences from other kids and all the adults and entrepreneurs that help support Biz Kid, and that will help them as well. So that's what I would advise them to do.
Awesome. Now, when we first met, we met, I think, 8 or 9 years ago when I moved to Southwest
Right.
Florida, and you were running the Entrepreneur Society of
Yeah.
America. And you guys had a program, and I wasn't there during the time you guys did this, but you had a kids program as well. Tell us what was the program and what was the most impressive kid you ran across?
Oh,
Oh, that's a hard one.
that,
I know. It's like picking your favorite
yeah,
kid, huh?
yeah. Well, we had a thing called the Hatchlings program, and the first that was born out of the Gator Cage. So we had our own version of Shark Tank, and the object of the Gator Cage was to train entrepreneurs how to present when they're looking to raise funding. So you're thinking of going on to Shark Tank and something similar, whether it be a private equity firm or the bank or even friends and relatives. How do you make that pitch? And the Gator Cage was a training for them for that. And we decided to take it one step further and opening it up just like the Biz Kidz Hub, and opening it up to school kids who also wanted to start their own business. And we linked up with the school authorities, and we held, uh, for one of the better, like auditions. So kids from different schools would come along and they would all pitch, and then we would say, okay, you three are good, so you go on to the next stage. And then we narrowed it down. And in the end, we ended up with 3 to 4 kids, and they would come along to ESOA, Entrepreneur Society meetings, and we would coach and mentor them on delivering their products. And we had all sorts. I mean, like all sorts. Um, uh, which one was the best? Oh.
Or the most unique, you know?
We had one kid, and he developed just using spare white tubing, plumbing tubing, and he developed a carrier for bicycles for taking fishing rods and fishing tackle. It
Okay.
was really clever. And then we had another kid who was very tech based, and he had a sister who was on the spectrum, and would often wander off. She needed constant supervision, and he developed an app tracker for her. And I thought that was incredibly creative. And in fact, that got some serious venture capital attention. So
That's great.
yeah, it's never too early. It's
Well,
never too early.
it isn't. And so what we see all the time is we see creative ideas come out of just starting off with thinking of about a lemonade stand or selling cookies and brownies, and then it evolves into something bigger and
Right.
better, and you start finding your kind of your niche for what you
Right.
want to do. So, well, Karl, we appreciate you coming out and sharing your stories with our audience today. We hope that you can get down to Southwest Florida when we do one of our big events, so you can actually see these kids in
I'd
action.
love it.
So we'll let you know when that's coming up. If you want to get your kids involved with the Biz Kidz, you can find us at www.bizkidzusa.org, and we have all types of programs where the kids can actually do pitch competitions, they can do markets, they can get involved and learn from our mentors, and we bring the business community around them, people like Karl that can actually give them the experience that they've had throughout their lives to help them kind of walk through this process. So thank you, Karl. Any last words to our kids out there about entrepreneurship?
Yeah, don't overthink it. Just do it. Don't overthink it. Just
Awesome.
do it.
Well, thanks for being here, and we'll see you next time on the Biz Kidz Podcast.